Hello, dear friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we delve into the cold, stark reality of royal exile, examining how the fallout from the Prince Andrew scandal continues to tear at the heart of the House of Windsor, forcing impossible choices upon the younger generation. If the intricate drama of the British monarchy, the painful intersection of duty and family loyalty resonates with you, please ensure you are subscribed and have tapped that notification bell so you never miss our deep dive analysis into the Crown's most sensitive moments. The most painful gift Prince Andrew will receive this Christmas is the profound silence of an empty home. While the rest of the royal family gathers in the hallowed historic halls of Sandringham, steeped in tradition and festive cheer, the former Duke of York faces a desolate, solitary festive season. He is facing the ultimate consequence of his past associations, a reckoning delivered not by the judiciary but by the subtle yet devastating machinations of the firm. But the true agonizing sting this holiday season is not just the king's exclusion, which was expected. It is the heartbreaking, calculated decision made by his own beloved eldest daughter, Princess Beatrice. The details emerging from royal sources paint a picture of utter isolation for the Duke, a man once considered indispensable, now rendered untouchable. It has been confirmed through multiple reports that Princess Beatrice has chosen to spend the crucial festive period abroad, consciously opting out of celebrations with her father, Prince Andrew, at Royal Lodge. This choice, while understandable given the circumstances, speaks volumes about the enduring, toxic shadow cast by his past ties to the disgraced financier, Jeffrey Epstein. Let us first contextualize the immense significance of this decision. For the British royal family, Christmas is not merely a holiday. It is an annual televised reaffirmation of the monarchy's stability and unity. The traditional gathering at Sandringham Estate in Norfolk is the epicenter of this display. It is where the King, Queen, Prince and Princess of Wales and other key members participate in the famous walk to St. Mary Magdalene Church, a moment scrutinized by global media and hundreds of well-wishers. Prince Andrew, of course, has been barred from this central performance. King Charles III, in his persistent strategic effort to maintain a slimmed-down and scandal-free monarchy, has made it unequivocally clear that the former Duke of York remains persona non grata within the inner visible circle. His absence from Sandringham is a political necessity for the Crown, an unavoidable consequence of losing his military affiliations and his right to use the HRH title in a working capacity back in January 2022. However, the real emotional earthquake occurs outside the Sandringham gates. While Andrew was not invited to the official royal Christmas bash, that much was certain. He and his former wife, Sarah Ferguson, usually maintain their own private, albeit quieter, festive traditions at Royal Lodge, hoping to gather their daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, and their grandchildren. The new reports, relayed by an insider to The Sun, reveal the depth of Beatrice's dilemma and the radical solution she chose. Beatrice declined invitations to both her parents' private celebration and the king's primary invitation to Sandringham. Think about the impossible position this puts a devoted daughter in. She faced a true Sophie's choice: publicly stand by her father, thereby implicitly challenging the king's authority and inviting fresh media scrutiny related to the Epstein allegations, or attend Sandringham, demonstrating loyalty to the Crown, but leaving her isolated father completely alone. Her decision to flee, to spend the holidays off with friends, or perhaps embarking on a private family vacation abroad with her husband, Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi, and their daughter Sienna, was the only viable escape route from this royal pressure cooker. The insider was devastatingly frank about the atmosphere surrounding Prince Andrew this year, stating, "With everything that's gone on, he's very much like the Grinch. It's clear this year that festive cheer is in short supply." This Grinch analogy is poignant. It suggests that Andrew's presence inherently sucks the joy and ease out of any gathering. He carries with him the heavy burden of scandal, the constant low-level hum of renewed scrutiny surrounding his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, a shadow that refuses to dissipate, even years after the initial revelations and the resolution of the civil lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre. The source was emphatic that Beatrice's primary motivation was the absolute need to avoid awkwardness. Beatrice doesn't want to cause any embarrassment, and was torn between loyalty to the king and her parents, the source explained. This statement encapsulates the agonizing generational divide currently plaguing the Windsor family. The younger generation, William, Kate, Beatrice, and Eugenie, are acutely aware that the future success of the monarchy hinges on public trust and absolute probity. Andrew's past actions directly threaten that trust, making proximity to him a political liability. Let us explore the profound nature of this awkwardness that Beatrice seeks to escape. The Epstein saga is not merely a piece of history, it is a persistent, open wound for the monarchy. Despite settling the civil claim, Andrew never fully cleared his name in the court of public opinion. Every time he appears in public, the media narrative immediately reverts to his disastrous 2019 BBC Newsnight interview, his association with a convicted sex offender, and the questions that still linger about his conduct. For Beatrice and her sister, Princess Eugenie, attending a formal Christmas gathering with Andrew means inviting camera lenses and reporters to dissect every fleeting expression, every interaction, turning a moment of family peace into a fresh media circus. Imagine the headlines: Beatrice and Andrew share, laugh despite scandal, or royal daughters stand by disgraced duke. Such narratives undermine the carefully managed image of the modern, responsible monarchy that Charles and William are desperately trying to build. Beatrice's choice to absent herself entirely is a sophisticated diplomatic maneuver. It's a move designed to protect her family, protect her standing within the future reign of King William V, and most importantly, protect the integrity of the institution itself. It is crucial to note that while Beatrice has distanced herself from the main event, she has maintained a careful, strategic show of loyalty to the king. The insider confirmed that both Beatrice and Eugenie attended the pre-Christmas family lunch hosted by the king at Buckingham Palace. This attendance was a highly symbolic gesture. The pre-Christmas lunch is usually a slightly less formal event, often attended by the wider extended family who may not be invited to the more exclusive Sandringham gathering. By attending the lunch, Beatrice and Eugenie successfully demonstrated their respect and loyalty to King Charles III and the Prince of Wales, without having to commit to the full, intensely scrutinized Christmas Day festivities. The source explicitly detailed Beatrice's gratitude toward the new reigning figures, noting, "She appreciates the way that the king and William have looked after her during everything that has been happening with Andy and Sarah." This appreciation highlights a crucial dynamic within the family. Since Andrew's public downfall, Charles and William have had to balance the institutional necessity of sidelining Andrew with the personal need to support his children, who are entirely innocent of their father's transgressions. By maintaining a relationship with Beatrice and Eugenie, and including them in events like the pre-Christmas lunch, Charles and William are effectively signaling that the daughters are valued members of the extended family, separate from the pariah status of their father. Beatrice's acknowledgement of this support suggests she understands the complexity of the situation and feels a deep sense of obligation to the monarch for protecting her and her sister's reputation. The final element of her strategy was pure damage control regarding optics. The source concluded, "She didn't want it to look like they were snubbing anyone, so it was easier to go off with friends." This is the ultimate royal paradox. To avoid the appearance of snubbing the king by attending her father's private gathering, or snubbing her father by attending the king's, she chose to snub both. By removing herself from the entire matrix of expectations, she neutralized the situation. Going off with friends or traveling provides an unassailable neutral reason for her absence, preventing the media from framing her choice as a direct rejection of one parent or one monarch. Let us pause for a moment and consider the profound sadness of Prince Andrew's predicament. He is facing a truly lonely Christmas, a direct, undeniable consequence of decades of poor judgment and questionable associations. Royal Lodge, once a vibrant hub of family life, risks becoming a gilded cage of isolation. The reports suggest that Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, who remains his staunch supporter and companion despite their divorce, will likely spend a quiet, understated Christmas together. While Sarah's presence provides some comfort, the absence of their daughters, particularly Beatrice, whose decision is politically motivated, must feel like a devastating blow. For Andrew, Christmas is supposed to be a time of warmth and familial forgiveness. Instead, it serves as an annual, institutionalized reminder of his fall from grace. When he looks out from Royal Lodge, he knows that just a few hours away, the rest of his family is enjoying the pinnacle of royal tradition, a tradition from which he is permanently exiled. This situation forces us to reflect deeply on the nature of loyalty within the monarchy. Beatrice and Eugenie have historically shown unwavering loyalty to their father. They stood by him during the worst moments of the scandal, maintaining family unity. Their attendance at the pre-Christmas lunch, however, shows a crucial shift. They are recognizing that institutional loyalty to the crown must, at this point, supersede personal fealty to their father. In the royal hierarchy, the monarch is not just a relative, he is the sovereign, the head of the institution that provides their heritage, status, and future. For Beatrice, ensuring her children and grandchildren maintain a positive, stable relationship with the future of the monarchy, Charles and William, is paramount, even if it means temporary, painful distance from her father. The concept of the Grinch is fascinating here. The Grinch steals Christmas joy. Andrew unintentionally steals the ease of the royal Christmas. His presence introduces tension, scrutiny, and historical baggage that the King and the Prince of Wales simply cannot tolerate during a period meant to project strength and continuity. Imagine the atmosphere at Royal Lodge. Even if Sarah Ferguson attempts to create a semblance of festivity, the knowledge that Beatrice is actively avoiding the setting, not because she dislikes her father, but because of the political danger he represents, must hang heavy in the air. This isn't just a family disagreement over where to spend the holidays. It is a public acknowledgement that Prince Andrew's toxicity is contaminating the lives of those closest to him. This decision by Princess Beatrice is also a significant indicator of the current power dynamics within the royal family. It confirms without a doubt that King Charles III and Prince William are firmly in control of the narrative and the guest list. Their vision for a streamlined, ethically sound monarchy is being implemented, even if it means making painful cuts within their own immediate family. Andrew's hope for a gradual reintegration into royal life, even in a small, private capacity, appears to be fading with every passing year. If his own children feel compelled to execute such extreme measures of self-preservation, what hope is there for the rest of the extended family to welcome him back? The focus on Princess Beatrice's dilemma also underscores her maturity and growing importance within the family structure. Beatrice and Eugenie, while not working royals, maintain key positions as granddaughters of the late Queen Elizabeth II and cousins to the future king. Their behavior is watched closely. By making a decision that prioritizes the health of the institution and avoids controversy, Beatrice is demonstrating a profound understanding of her unique position and the responsibilities that come with it. She is showing King Charles that she is a reliable, discreet, and trustworthy member of the extended royal clan. Furthermore, we must consider the logistical and emotional complexity of the alternative. Had Beatrice and Eugenie attended the private celebrations at Royal Lodge, they would have inevitably faced questions about their father's exclusion from Sandringham. They would have been forced into a defensive posture, perhaps trying to explain Andrew's absence or minimize the seriousness of the situation. By leaving the country, Beatrice has bought herself peace and silence, allowing the king's narrative that Andrew is firmly outside the central fold to stand unchallenged. This pattern of distancing is likely to continue indefinitely. As long as the shadow of Jeffrey Epstein looms and as long as King Charles maintains his commitment to a leaner, more ethical monarchy, Prince Andrew will remain in the state of perpetual, isolated twilight. His daughters, while loving him, must prioritize their future and the future of their children, which is intrinsically linked to the stability of the crown. The emotional toll on Andrew, described as the Grinch, must be immense. To be the source of such intense family strain, to know that your presence causes embarrassment and forces your own children to seek refuge abroad, is a devastating realization for any parent. This is the ultimate price of his past actions, not just the loss of titles and status, but the erosion of intimate familial connection during the most cherished time of the year. The fact that Beatrice chose to be with friends or travel abroad rather than spending time with her father is a powerful indicator that the toxicity surrounding Andrew is still considered too potent for public consumption, even within the supposed privacy of Royal Lodge. It suggests that the media scrutiny and potential for renewed questions surrounding the Epstein ties are simply too high a risk for Beatrice to take, especially now that she is a wife and mother herself, building her own public profile. The situation is a testament to the enduring power of scandal in the digital age. Even years later, the consequences reverberate, dictating the movements and decisions of individuals who played no direct part in the original events. Beatrice and Eugenie are navigating a treacherous path, attempting to balance filial devotion with institutional necessity. The geography of exile, Sandringham versus Royal Lodge. To fully grasp the chasm separating Andrew from the rest of his family, we must examine the geography of the exclusion. Sandringham, especially during Christmas, is more than a residence. It is a stage. The famous Christmas morning walk is a highly choreographed public relations exercise. The King, the Queen, the Prince and Princess of Wales and their children, all walking in formation, smiling for the cameras, represent continuity and health. Andrew's absence from this walk is the visual equivalent of a public shunning. The media doesn't just report that he wasn't there, they report who was there, and his name is conspicuously missing from the list of attendees year after year. This annual reminder is a fresh layer of humiliation. Contrast this highly visible public ritual with Royal Lodge, Andrew's residence near Windsor. Royal Lodge is now functionally a luxurious but isolated holding cell. It is a sprawling symbol of past status and current irrelevance. While Andrew fights to maintain his tenancy there, the emotional truth is that the property has become synonymous with his exile. It is where he retreats, shielded by Sarah Ferguson, but ultimately cut off from the dynamic center of the monarchy. Beatrice's decision to travel reinforces the idea that Royal Lodge itself is tainted. By choosing a neutral foreign location, she is sending a clear signal. The atmosphere at Royal Lodge is too fraught, too politically charged to allow for genuine festive relaxation. The pressure on Edoardo Mappelli Mozzi. We must also consider the role of Princess Beatrice's husband, Edoardo Mappelli Mozzi. Edo is an established property developer with his own business and reputation to protect. He is a relative newcomer to the royal circus, and while he is fiercely loyal to his wife, he has no institutional need to be drawn into the toxic legacy of Prince Andrew. For Edo, spending Christmas at Royal Lodge means subjecting himself, his wife, and their young daughter Sienna to relentless paparazzi coverage and the inevitable re-airing of the Epstein links. Every photograph taken of him entering or leaving Andrew's house becomes a headline, linking him, however peripherally, to the scandal. Beatrice, as a devoted wife and mother, is undoubtedly protecting her husband and her child from this unnecessary exposure. Her decision to travel is a protective shield over her immediate nuclear family. It is a mature recognition that her primary loyalty must shift from her father to the family she has created. This move is less about Andrew and more about the strategic survival of the Mappelli Mozzi unit within the wider royal family framework. Sarah Ferguson, the sole buffer. The only person consistently remaining in Andrew's corner, providing him with companionship during this profound isolation, is Sarah Ferguson. Fergie's loyalty is legendary, often criticized as enabling, but undeniably steadfast. She has built her own life and career outside the formal structure of the monarchy, but she remains physically and emotionally tethered to Andrew at Royal Lodge. Fergie's presence prevents Andrew's Christmas from being completely solitary. She acts as his emotional buffer, absorbing some of the media glare and providing a semblance of normalcy. However, even her efforts cannot mask the political reality. She can provide comfort, but she cannot provide exoneration. She can bake the festive treats, but she cannot fill the silence left by Beatrice's strategic absence. Her continued presence, while admirable in terms of personal loyalty, only further highlights the depth of Andrew's professional downfall. He is so radioactive that only a non-working royal, already accustomed to public scrutiny and controversy, is willing to stand by him publicly during such a sensitive time. Princess Eugenie's parallel dilemma and the unified York front. While the focus is rightly on Beatrice's flight, we must recognize that Princess Eugenie, Andrew's younger daughter, faces the identical dilemma. Reports suggest Eugenie, with her husband Jack Brooksbank and their children, August and Ernest, maintains a slightly more private life, often balancing time between the UK and Portugal. Her absence from Royal Lodge would be equally critical. The sisters, Beatrice and Eugenie, have always operated as a cohesive unit. Their decision-making process is likely synchronized. If Beatrice chose international travel, it is highly probable that Eugenie made a similar strategic retreat, perhaps to their base in Portugal or a quiet gathering elsewhere, to avoid the same political trap. For the York sisters, their unified absence sends an even stronger, non-verbal message to the king. We understand the boundaries, and we will enforce them, even if it means personal pain. This unified front demonstrates that their loyalty to the institution is shared, and that they recognize the long-term imperative of protecting their children from the taint of the Epstein scandal. The long-term impact on the grandchildren. This brings us to the next generation, Sienna Mapelli Motzi and August and Ernest Brooksbank. These young children are the primary motivation for Beatrice and Eugenie's hard decisions. In the royal ecosystem, reputation is currency. If the York grandchildren are consistently photographed spending holidays at the home of the Grinch, the perpetually disgraced Duke, that association will follow them throughout their lives. Beatrice and Eugenie are acting as proactive gatekeepers, insulating their children from their grandfather's political toxicity. By prioritizing neutrality and distance now, they ensure that Sienna, August, and Ernest can grow up with an untarnished relationship with the main line of succession, King Charles and future King William Febvre, without the baggage of their grandfather's past. This is not just a Christmas decision, it is a long-term inheritance strategy, ensuring their children inherit status and stability, not scandal. Historical precedent, the price of exile. Andrew's current situation echoes historical precedents of royal figures deemed too damaging to the crown's image. The most famous example is Edward VIII and the Duke of Windsor, whose marriage forced him into permanent exile. While Andrew's situation stems from moral and legal controversy, rather than a constitutional crisis over marriage, the result is the same: complete exclusion from the visible working core of the family. Like the Duke of Windsor, Andrew is allowed to live in luxury and retains his place in the line of succession, but he is fundamentally stripped of soft power, the ability to influence or participate in the life of the nation. For Andrew, the annual Christmas exile is the modern, formalized ritual that confirms his status as a non-person within the institution he was born to serve. The fact that his children feel compelled to execute their own exile during the holidays confirms that the sovereign's decree of isolation is absolute and enforced by the family itself. Financial implications and the Royal Lodge fight. We cannot ignore the financial shadow hanging over Royal Lodge. Andrew continues to fight fiercely to retain the sprawling property, which requires extensive and costly maintenance. This ongoing battle with the king over his residence is another layer of tension that infects the festive atmosphere. Andrew views Royal Lodge as his last bastion of status and independence. King Charles views it as a costly, unnecessary burden for a non-working royal. If Andrew were compliant and quietly retreated, the king might be more generous. But Andrew's persistent resistance to downsizing only fuels the institutional desire to distance itself further. Beatrice and Eugenie are keenly aware that their father is currently locked in a cold war with the monarch over his home, a war that makes gathering there for a joyous occasion almost impossible. The house itself, therefore, becomes another symbol of the ongoing crisis, another reason to seek neutral ground abroad. In conclusion, this Christmas reveals the painful truth of Prince Andrew's permanent exile. While he remains a member of the family by blood, he is professionally and socially quarantined. Princess Beatrice's calculated absence is not a personal rejection, but a political necessity, a choice made out of loyalty to the crown and a deep, mature understanding of the media landscape. She chose to protect the institution and her own future standing by neutralizing the crisis, leaving Andrew to face the festive season alone, a stark and somber reminder of the consequences of his entanglement with Jeffrey Epstein. It is a poignant, almost Shakespearean tragedy playing out behind the high walls of the Windsor estates. The disgraced prince isolated, while his dutiful daughter makes the difficult sacrifice required to ensure the stability of the realm. The silence at Royal Lodge this Christmas speaks far louder than any statement the palace could issue, confirming the irreversible nature of Prince Andrew's fall from grace. What are your thoughts on Princess Beatrice's decision to spend Christmas abroad instead of with her father, Prince Andrew? Was this the only way she could navigate the impossible demands of loyalty to both her father and the king? Do you believe King Charles is handling Andrew's exclusion correctly? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. If you found this detailed analysis insightful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with others who follow the intricate world of the British royal family. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next broadcast for more deep dives into the heart of the monarchy.